Screenshot.
Oh, you're so cute. Because I think I'm normally on the right side. Oh no, I smiled and I have braces. Brews don't use that. Oh god. I don't know how to smile now. I curve my lip over the bottom.
You can't tell. You can't tell. But this is a lunch hour.
Is this a lunch hour? Yeah, this is a lunch hour.
All right. So
So
then,
we don't need a whole like is
yeah.
that
y-
is that
th-
copyrightable?
well, here we are. Yeah, I guess. Hi, Ollie.
Boom, boom, Freudian slips. What's
What
for
is for lunch?
lunch? Well, for these ones, do we do the shrinks, the kinks, the dinka da dinks?
No, I think like for most of the lunch hours, I've just asked you like, what's for lunch, and then we just started the conversation.
That is so fun. Obviously, what's for lunch? I'm a girl. My second espresso. Well, it's espresso, but then I put oat milk in it. But so mini latte, kind of. But yeah, obviously that's what's for my lunch because I'm a girl through and through. That's what I'm having at noon on a weekday. Food? Who needs that? Who needs sustenance to thrive?
I am freaking starving, so I might actually eat something.
Oh my God, please eat something. What do you have today? No, and I do. I feel like it's important to note that I do eat in front of you many times. The other day I
You
had
do.
yogurt. I do love a good rice cake, nuts, an assorted nut medley. Oh, hates to see meat coming if there's cranberries. I love cranberries in there.
I have. We'll see how this holds me over. Like little gummies.
What the fuck? That's an individually a singular gummy? Is that a weed gummy?
No, not exciting at all. But what it is a gummy. That's it. I wish I had a more like interesting story. I don't know why I just did that. It's supposed to be one of those where like you can peel.
I've seen these on the interwebs. They're going viral. People are loving the like peelableness.
Yeah, I
I
don't
didn't
fucking get it.
I've just never seen gummies that are not, I don't know, for those of you that aren't watching and you're just listening, a singular gummy was packaged. Not like a little pack of gummies. A singular gummy had its own package.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. How many of those do you have? Like, I would need to eat like 20.
I have a whole bag. So there's a funny story behind it, but it's now in my office and they're just individually wrapped gummies that I'm trying to get through.
Okay. Well, hopefully it doesn't take you that long. I
It's gonna
believe in
take
you.
me forever.
How
It's
big
gonna
is
take
this bag?
it's the size of the bag is not the problem. The
You don't
fact
like
that
gummies.
no, I do. It's just the fact that I'm not eating them
Why?
because I'm trying to look good naked. And so like
So
junk
you
food,
can't eat one individually wrapped gummy?
well, no, because you can't eat one individually wrapped gummy. You have to eat 20 of them. And so like I'm trying very hard to pace myself.
I feel like this is a shameful food because they know that you're going to have like 5 wrappers on your desk and you're going to reach for the 6th and you're going to be like, God damn, like you need, it forces you to pause and have the process time of like, you're opening up another one of these. You sure you
Yeah.
want to do this? And you're like, I wish these were the jumbo bag of Sour Patch Kids they sell at Costco that you can just slam. And then you
Yeah.
don't have time to judge yourself till after.
Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah. It's definitely like I've been really hungry and like sometimes I just don't plan accordingly when I bring my lunch in. And so my wife, she's super sweet. Like she just got me a whole bag and she just put a bunch of shit in and was like, I'm not going to eat these. You're going to eat them. She put them in there. And so now I just have like a bunch of snacks here.
Out of curiosity, have you seen those videos where someone will, it's normally like a female that's at work that's like, my husband packed me a lunch today. Let's see
Mm.
what he put. And it's just like the entire Costco size bag that was whatever was left of Cheetos. Like an entire bunch of bananas. Like it's just like men just see things around the house and throw it in there. One was like hummus, but it's
Mm.
like, oh, nothing to eat with the hummus.
No celery, no carrots, no
Nope.
nothing.
But just like the container of hummus that was found in the fridge, it is pretty comical. Very starkly accurate. And so I find that hilarious. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. The gummies derailed me. But Danny, I have questions for us today. More Q. I love a Q&A.
Okay, I'm ready.
Are you that sounded like excitement.
This should be normal by now. That
Yes.
this,
Oh, I
yeah,
love
you
it.
know, yeah, that
I
was
love
not
it.
sarcastic. This definitely does sound like excitement.
Yeah. That's my Danny excited. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so today we're doing a Q&A that I love how you said it. It's more of a below the iceberg Q&A.
Yeah.
I feel like we've kind of touched on some of these things as just like our initial thoughts or kind of more surface level answers that are still totally accurate, but I think slightly more surface level versus like really kind of digging deep for some, like, real millennial therapist answers to these things.
Yeah. I
So
saw this and I did try a little bit harder, so
what?
I saw these questions,
Yeah.
and I did find myself trying a little harder. Like we were talking about before we were recording, like, some of these did feel like repeats, but it's like, "No, what is the answer? What is the next answer?" You know, like, not the knee-jerk answer, not the first one that comes to your head,
Yeah.
like, what is the answer? So,
Well,
okay.
and it's funny because I think I either, like, heard some of these or I'd be, like, reading something and saw that, like, an interview with someone and they asked this question, and I was like, "Oh, that's a really good question." But it's funny because when I wrote them all, I didn't even catch that they're kind of things we've asked before because I guess I was in such a different headspace or it felt like such a different question. So but I love that. Yeah, it's not like the knee-jerk reaction. It's like, oh, it's like one step under that. Like when all
Right.
of our clients are like, "Yeah, today went good." You're like, "It was
Yeah.
okay." And it's like, "That's great." What does okay mean?
Yeah.
Let's oh, good answer. Let's talk about it. What is that? So, okay, so the first one I have for you, Danny, in this
Yes.
lovely Q&A for our lunch hour is, what is your biggest insecurity about being a therapist?
But like I said, I'm going deep with this one, and, yeah, I don't know if this is gonna set the tone.
Oh,
I don't know, but this is the answer.
okay. I just get so excited because, like, I don't know the answer to anything that you're gonna give either. And so I'm like, what is Danny's biggest insecurity?
My biggest insecurity about being a therapist is, or I guess was, I don't know if it really is, but again, this is what's coming up, and it's
That's
real.
okay. Whatever's coming up.
My biggest insecurity about being a therapist is also being divorced.
Oh,
So,
explain.
yeah, a couples specialist, right? That's where I've really kind of built my career off of helping couples. And if you've, I'm pretty sure we've talked about this on like past episodes where it's like, what inspired you to be a therapist? What really got you here? And I always wanted to be in a relationship, right? I always thought like being a husband is like, that's the job I want. That sounds so cool, right? Being in a relationship, being able to like share life with someone and do all this. That's what I want to do, you know? That's my NBA. That's my NFL. And
That's my
so,
Super Bowl, baby.
yeah, yeah. And so, I was serious about it, never really dated unless there was an intention for me, as much of an intention as a freaking like high schooler can have about marriage. And found the person I wanted to marry, married them. And when I was going through the program, within my three-year program of
Oh, like
getting
you
my
met
master's.
and married in
No,
the
no, no, no,
3 years.
no. Sorry. So we met in high school.
Oh, oh, oh.
Yeah, we met in high school within the 3-year program, so years later. I had gotten married, which is great, but I had also gotten divorced. So the relationship spanned about the time of the program. Like the
Mhm.
marriage spanned about the time of the program is what I'm talking about. All in all, overachiever, right? A lot of people get married in a program. I got married and divorced, so suck it.
Look at you.
Yeah. So that was like really, really tough because, not only is it just hard to go through something like that, just individually, right? Mine was relatively painless, I would say. There's not a lot of arguing, there's not a lot of communication at all. Once I decided that that's what we are going to do, just pretty much cut off as much communication as possible, for better or for worse. But being a therapist, like building, I had been known as the person who is ready for a relationship because like I said, this is what I wanted to do. And so it was pretty common. Like everyone always looked at me and either they're like, we know, and I've had this mentioned to me a few times, like we kind of model what we're looking for in partners out of the relationship that you have. It's really nice and refreshing to see someone your age or in your whatever, like doing what you do. And we can see that you take it very seriously. And so I had always been known as someone who's like, oh, he's going to be a partner. To then not be in a relationship was like a huge like existential kind of crisis, essentially giving up the thing that I had worked most of my conscious life for. And then you have this extra layer of like, I am building a career off of helping couples. And so who am I to be able to help couples and to not even be able to keep my own relationship? That was a comment that was kind of thrown at me early on by someone that was like, well, you're trying to be a therapist, shouldn't you just be able to work this out? And so, it's something that I did get over rather quickly, but it is like the biggest insecurity. I'm pretty private. I don't really talk about my past or my just personal life really with work in general. I'm not like secretive, but there's just so many other things to talk about in 50 minutes that I am not on the top of the list. But I can't lie that, it does I do wonder what someone not of sound mind would do with that information. You know, if they're reacting, if they're having a bad time, if I'm asking them to do something and they're like, "Oh, you're divorced," you know? And so I do believe that it's an insecurity. Like, it's not something that I carry around. It definitely doesn't stop me from doing my job. I have a very successful practice and I still love doing what I do. I work in many of the things that I struggled with, and I don't do it from a place of like transference or counter transference or anything like that. Like,
Mhm.
I really just leave it all here at work. But yeah, if you're asking me like what is your biggest insecurity about being a therapist is was, you know, going through quite like the hardest thing that can happen in a relationship and just wanting to not be like misunderstood by what I did.
I mean, I'm not here to judge whether your answer is good or not. I don't mean it like that. Like, yay, A plus, good answer. That was vulnerable enough. Check. I approve. No, no, no. But I mean, just like, I think that's important for people to, because I mean, over 50% now of people, is it like in America? Like that get divorced? And on
I
top
think
of
it's like
that,
60.
60?
Yeah, I think it's like 60.
Oh, I knew we surpassed 50, but it's like, yeah, that doesn't mean I mean, honestly, I actually think therapist stats are probably higher than that. But it's like, yeah, that we're just real people that go through our own stuff, and I don't think, yeah, forcibly staying with someone or trying to make something work, it doesn't matter, like, what your job is or how much you know. Like, that doesn't always mean that that's the right thing for people or healthy for people.
Yeah, like if people like do care, what I usually will say, and it's a true answer, it's an honest answer, is I got divorced. Like, I didn't get divorced because I didn't want to be married anymore. Like, I got divorced because I did want to be married, you know? And like, if this is the relationship that didn't let me be married, then that's the reason why I'm leaving, is because I think marriage is important. It's not because marriage lost its meaning. And that's usually now like a big thread in how I run my practice and why I think I'm able to be as firm or as like push people as hard in couples work is because like I don't make any assumption that the two people or however many people that the people walking into my room are the right relationship. They want to come
Yeah.
in here because they want to have a healthy relationship. And so my job is to represent, guide towards, model the healthy relationship. I hope that you guys can meet that standard, but I'm not laboring under the delusion that you guys, just because you picked each other, are the good relationship.
Yeah. Danny, that was a beautiful answer.
Yeah,
Did you look up the stats? I see you.
I'm trying
I
to,
see your
and
brain turning.
yeah, so blah blah blah. 2023, 45 states. There were
45
about
days.
like in 2023, there were about 672,502 divorces, giving a crude divorce rate of 2.4 per thousand population.
I can't do that math.
Just fucking give me a percentage.
What does that mean? Do I have to do 1,000 divided by point 0.024? Because that's 2.4%?
Estimates a
Three
wrong
times?
run suggest that about 40% of first marriages will end in divorce rather than the commonly 50%. So this is actually,
Oh,
um,
that is correct. I have heard that the general stat takes into account, like, 2nd, 3rd, like, multiple divorces are,
mhm.
like, added to that stat.
I see. Okay, so the numbers
So
have
that's
been going
interesting.
down. What I do think is, like, important, yeah, there has been, like, a downward trend of
Oh.
divorce rates in America, but, I think that also kinda coincides with the amount of marriages or how, like, different marriage has been or, you know, cohabitating has been
Yes.
looking, and so you
Marriage
can't
looks
really
very
divorce if
different
you're
in
not getting
America right now too. Yeah,
yeah.
and people are getting married much later. People
Mm,
aren't getting married as often, and so that is interesting. I wonder if a
yeah,
lot of that contributes to there.
yeah,
That's
and if
that
you
is
guys are interested, I'm
Mhm.
pulling this information off of the Institute for Family Studies. That's what I'm looking at right now.
I know. Of course, you come in with exactly what site you're on. I love
Yeah.
you. That was a really good answer. I'm also glad that you said it's not as much of an insecurity anymore because 'cause you're,
Mm,
like, so great at what you do, and that has absolutely no relevance in the work you do, in my opinion.
thank you. What about you? What's your answer?
Right now, it's these damn braces. But below the surface answer, I guess I need to pick something other than my stupid braces. It's really not helping that I look young. It's really not. Track practice last night at a high school while the kids were like it was embarrassing. Anyway, mine's have some friends, honestly, you included, until I get to know you more, and then I was like, "Yay, Danny's cool." I have a friend specifically named can I say his name? Named Rex. We only 15 people listen to us right now. This is fine. And I'm giving him a shout out. He's truly one of the most lovely humans I know. And when I was starting grad school is when I met him at the current job I had. And he's just an angel. I love him. And he like screamed therapist. And I've talked about my teacher Colette before, who was just like, like just this ripped, amazing woman that you're like, are you even human? Like, you're wonderful. And she would just be like, oh, yes, when I worked with the Apaches. When I did, and she did not, it did not come across like egotistical or like she was just like, of course you did that, Colette. Like, you're wonderful. My friend Rex is the same. It was like, oh, I don't have a car right now. I just like, I bike everywhere. And he does yoga regularly and everything was like, Ollie, like, come to my office after. We'll talk about it. Or just like, what are you doing to help with that? Or everything. His tone of voice. That's the other, it's like a lot of the cadence in how therapists talk that I've met, their tone of voice, their overall, they're so calm. They are so calm. And I was like, I'm going to go to therapy school for 4 years. I'm going to learn. I'm going to become a therapist. I'm in my little cocoon and I'm going to come out of my cocoon and it's going to be Ollie therapist version. Anyone who meets me after grad school is going to be like, oh my God, you're like Ollie, but you're better. You're therapy Ollie. That didn't happen. I was like, the acrylic nails, sorry, they have to stay. My hoops, the bigger, the better. I
I
will
like that.
still, when I worked in Oakland, it was the most validation I ever got. These moms would come in wanting to hate the school psychologist, and they'd be like, girl, do you get your nails done at this place? And I was like, no, I have to go to Antioch. Where do you go? I was like, yes, thank you. Like, you understand that this is a part of who we are. And
Mhm.
so I never got the calm. I never got the, like, my energy is ridiculous. My personality can't be hidden. I was like, thank the Lord when I found out that there were styles of therapy that were not like a blank slate. Cause like
Sure.
I am every meme that's like you telling your therapist something and they're just like, they're just it's all over their face. It's all over their body. And they're just like, no. Yeah, just keep going. I feel totally neutral on this. It's like, I'm not capable of that. And so I think I've had clients long enough now that I'm like, okay, like people like me for me and I can be a really good therapist being me. Like I study this stuff all the time. That's what I think initially drew me to you. I loved that you and I were not just like kind of going off in la la land or doing whatever we want or thinking this isn't like a legitimate job. It's like, no, there's tons of research. You can do things a lot of different ways, but you want to know why you're doing things that way
Mm.
and why you're picking what strategy. And if that doesn't work, why you maybe are pivoting to a different one. Like you were one of the only people I met, like going through school with you. That was like, oh, cool. Like he likes the similar approach that I like. And you do your whiteboard, like you do things so different. But I think overall we approach and think about therapy similarly, which I really love. But I think I just had friends like Rex and these like mentors that I was like, oh, like you are wonderful. I've put you on a pedestal. You're the coolest person ever. And I'm like, I want to be that cool. And it's like, no, I'm just like a 4'11 bat out of hell, huge hoops and braces. That's where we're at in 2025, and I can't hide that even when I am like giving you all the psychoeducation of things. But I think having clients that are of such diverse backgrounds and ages, and it's like I'm not like the millennial therapist. I have way more older clients than younger clients. And I actually love that because I'm like, okay, like I wouldn't think that my personality would jive as much with them or just how I am would speak to like a very traditional male of Muslim culture. It's very interesting to me how different people respond to me and how I
Mm.
can have so many different types of people that are like want to see me for years or go away, for a while and then come back and are like, hey, Ollie, I'm not going to lie. I tried to find people through insurance. You're expensive, but like, no, it did not work out. I love you. I'm coming back. And I'm like, yay, yes, like here's one for the little guys, like literally, it's like, yay, like we don't, and I do, there's obviously a beauty and there's an elegance. I think that's it. There's an elegance to people that carry themselves. I think the way you do, the way Rex does, the way these other people that I have met who are therapists, the way
Mhm.
they carry themselves. And I think, I try to be professional. I'm not trying to act like I'm not taking it seriously. It's just, I'm not going to have the monotone, like super soft voice. I'm not a calm person. I got no calm, no chill. I'm full throttle from the minute I wake up at 6 a.m. I'm just on.
Yeah.
until I pass out, then I'm off. So, I think that was an insecurity for a while, is I was like, "Oh, no." Like, I didn't just magically become this butterfly I thought I was gonna be. This didn't transform who I am, and, like, what if that means I'm not good at this? Like, I love this. I wanna be good at this. And then I think I've realized I'm doing well in a time a lot of other people have said they're struggling. I have people that are willing to pay out of pocket for me that are like, "I never thought I'd be open to doing this when I can use insurance," and I'm, like, nothing but so incredibly grateful for it. And so, I think now it has become, like you said, Danny, it's, like, less of an insecurity, but I think there will always be. I'll see that therapist on TV or Esther Perel, and I'm like, "Oh, they're just so calm and confident and beautiful." And I'm out here like, "Oh, shit, I don't know that. God, there's always so much to learn." Like, it's just I think I'm ridiculous. So, that's my biggest insecurity, but I do think some people jive with it, and that makes me really happy. So,
We jive.
we jive.
Yeah, we like the Ollie.
Thanks. So, that's my biggest insecurity, but it's definitely come a long way, and I like that now it's like I have adult men, that it's like if they even notice that I've got different nails when I'm talking or something, because I talk a lot with my hands, they will literally pause whatever they're doing to be like, "Oh, wait a minute. Those are new this week. Like, what color?" Like, it's fun. It's, like, become this thing, and I really, really like it.
I
So
think that's cute.
that's my biggest insecurity. Okay, next one. I really love having I know that these might kind of be like dark questions or a lot of them err on more the negative side, but I think it's because I want people to see that therapists aren't these like perfect, polished people that have everything figured out. And I don't think that that just speaks to millennials like me and Danny, but
Mhm.
I think it speaks to any therapist. Um, okay, so the next one, Danny. What is the scariest part of running a private practice? And not just like hard. Like, things that at times you're like, "Holy shit, this is scary."
I think the scariest part for me about running a private practice is the consistency,
Mm,
if that makes sense. Like the idea that I don't have a constant caseload, that I don't like my next week is not guaranteed, that if I don't make this work, it will not work, you know? Now, this is all to say that I have been very, very successful from the beginning, even when I was a part of a group practice. Like I'm doing fine. But why am I doing fine? It's because of that fear.
because you wake up every day like, "Oh god,
Yeah.
gotta make this
Yeah.
work."
Yeah, and, like, I think this conversation comes up a lot, especially when I'm teaching, because private practice is a very attractive thing. Like, people, they wanna make their own schedule, they wanna set their own rates, they wanna
So
blah, blah, blah.
shiny.
Yeah, it looks
Ooh, that sounds
nice.
fun.
Yeah, but what people fail to understand is, like, you're a business person. Like, you're not just a therapist, like, you have to run a business, and that requires so many things of you, and, like, we see it I don't know how many times you notice it, but I see it all the time, like, even on the Facebook groups that we use is everyone's always like, how many niches do you need? Should I do this? Should I get this training? Blah, blah. Like people are trying to figure out how to survive. And this year has been, I think, the scariest one since I've been working. This has been the scariest year for people in
Yeah,
private practice. I've seen so many people just close their doors. And so it's like, yeah, that's the scariest thing is that, I am doing my best to support my family. I'm doing my best to take care of myself, to give myself a future and to, give my kid a future. And knowing that it's in like one of the most like unstable like forms of work, which is like self employed,
yeah.
one man show kind of thing, it is scary because, yeah, if you don't work, you don't get paid. And just constantly being on that, like always looking for the next client, always looking for the next networking opportunity, always trying to push myself like in my practice and in my study to make sure that, when one client comes in, that one client is an X amount investment. And so I just need to make sure that I can actually help that one client. And so I need to understand this, that, all these other things. And so like yeah, we talk about this all the time, just how much we research, how much we read. Like these books are not for show. Like there's a lot of stuff that goes in preparing to
Yeah.
do what we do, and I take it all very, very seriously because and it's a healthy fear. It's not like it's debilitating, but it is a healthy fear that I do not take my job, my position, my freedom for granted. It's something that I'm constantly working on.
Well, obviously, I second everything you said. Yes. Huge fear. Other things that I think are scary is kind of similar to the like, this is all on me and I need to, like, whether it's to keep clients or I have to work to get paid. Like right now, things are great. And I don't have a lot of other responsibilities. I can work anytime I want. But I think
Mm,
about, like, okay, what if I did have kids or what if I did foster and I need to like take them to appointments and do this and do that? Or like, what if, yeah, you have a kid and then it's like, it's funny. My mom and my husband's mom were both very similar. They both ran their own businesses. They were back to work like within days of giving birth. I think I'd probably be the same. I don't care if people say that's unhealthy or not. I think that's just how people who run their own business, and depending on who you are and obviously how that goes, people do that. And so I think I get scared when it's like, okay, what if like my 90-year-old Hispanic grandmother gets sick or something and I want to help take care of her? What if it's like all of that directly will take up time that I just cannot make money
right.
if I'm not doing that. And as the primary breadwinner, it's like there are going to be times where it's like, oh geez, so do I now need to like be a mom or a caregiver and be the person who's kind of making the most? And I get you don't have to, but it's like then other circumstances are gonna be like, "Okay, well, then I don't know if you can, afford these
Right.
things or afford to help or it's like the healthcare alone is it's there's so many different things." So I think it's like the stress of what if something happens or what if
Mhm.
when my life doesn't look like this anymore? Like, I think about that a lot, and I think kind of maybe this is more of like an invisible, like, scary thing or fear, is like I always get really scared someone's gonna leave our sessions or, like, just be like, "That didn't what did that help?" Or like, "Oh, like, that didn't." It's like I take what I do so seriously and, like, I give homework. I'm constantly, while people are talking to me, thinking like, "Ooh, okay, maybe they would like this from this thing," or like, "Huh, interesting. I wouldn't peg them as like as a gestalt kind of leaning, but like, I don't know, I'm thinking this, I'm thinking that." It's like I take it so seriously trying to help people that I do think I have this fear, which I know is I guess illogical isn't any professional, I'm sure, who cares about what they do has this fear. Like, I get it's not necessarily reasonable, but and it's not like I think about it all the time, but it's always in the back of my head that's like, damn, I hope people do leave our work together feeling like, oh, or at least like look back on me as their therapist fondly and can tell that
Mhm.
I cared and that I genuinely wanted to help and that I had knowledge in my pursuit of trying to help them. I think I do have a fear of people being like, "Oh my god, you saw that therapist too? Like, she sucked." It's like, you don't have to like me or my style, that's fine. But if it was based on, like, my knowledge, I think that would make me really sad because I think we have a lot of that.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer. That is something that I am a little wary of. Whenever there's conversations about like leaving reviews, like, is that a thing? I don't like that, but like even just the thought of that,
Ooh,
like they either love you
or they
or
hate
they
you.
don't, and like they don't like you for what reason? Like, is
Yeah.
that because oftentimes like I've had people walk out and hate me because the work worked. It brought out the thing they didn't want to work on. It caught up with them and now like I'm the bad guy for it. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, going out and saying, "Well, this person sucks. You shouldn't see this person, blah blah blah, this and that." It's like, that is a little scary working with the general, like, stereotype of people that we work with. Again, a stereotype, not everyone's like this, but it's like, yeah, you work with people who might not always be of sound mind, and you leave your review like just verbal, feedback to the world up to them. That's a little scary. You get one person who hates you for the wrong reason, and it could actually have a pretty big impact.
Yeah, or Danny, I'm just thinking about like, okay, like me, maybe being pretty vocal about like, we can't cure your ADHD. That's not something that goes away. Or like sex therapy. I think sex
Mhm.
therapy is a really one thing I wasn't prepared for with sex therapy is I think the level of not so much pushback, but like I think people want an answer that we're not going to give them. I
Yeah.
think people want this like, oh, here's the secret. Here's this, here's that. It's like, no, we're going to talk a lot not about sex in here. And like, yes, this does kind of have something to do with how little you're helping around the house and the tone of voice you use to talk with them. Like, that is just the reality of this. And I
Mhm.
think people want this, like, oh my God, we're here for our sex life, fix our sex life.
Yeah.
People are not normally that aggressive, but I'm just saying, like, I think with certain topics, especially, it's like, no, I'm just giving you the answer you don't want to hear. And like, that's stuff you need to work with. I'm not here to lie to you to get your business. I'm not okay with that. And I'm not here to set you up for unrealistic expectations.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, that's just what that brought up for me. when you were talking about, like, yeah, it's like there's just also in some of the nature of the specific work we do, I think it kinda can set people up for feeling like, oh, like, that was so dumb," or like, "Why were they having us do that?" And it's like, fine, go to 3 more sex therapists before you realize that we're all gonna do the same thing, or
Yeah.
something similar, and we're not giving you the answer you want.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that scary more so in the sense that I'm like, oh, I just want people to know that people like therapists like you and I care, and
Mm.
we genuinely work on these things all the time, and we, like, crave more knowledge and research, and, like, we're doing these things all the time because we care so much about helping our clients.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are my scaries.
Good one.
Ooh, okay, next one, Danny. What makes for a difficult client?
What makes for a difficult client is the client that is not how do I wanna say this? Have you ever had a client where it's like you give them a conjecture, you give them an option, you give them a statement, you tell them how this is gonna go, and they're like, "Yeah, well, I just don't know what to do. I just told you. I just told you this, that, or the other thing. Yeah, I guess you never know. You do though, because 'cause you're gonna pick this, that, or the other thing."
We actually know if you go left, this is where you're gonna end up, and if you go
Right.
right, this is where you're gonna end up. It says it on the sign.
We'll just wait and see. Motherfucker, what is wrong with like, I don't wanna say indecisive people, because that's not really what I'm talking about.
No.
It's like, I'm lovingly thinking of a few right now, where it's like, what you need to do is very clear cut, and it's not even opinion. Like, a lot of the stuff is just happening around you, and this is, like, what you need what this is what needs to be done about it, not therapist opinion, just legal stuff sometimes. And it's like, "Well, I don't know." It's you don't have to, I just told you. When you, like, give someone information that's, like, very
Yeah.
objective and it through no fault of their own, like, I really am not trying to make fun of them. There's this thing that I would love to understand more, why or what is behind this, but it's just, like, for some reason, the information just doesn't click, just doesn't register as, like, direct, objective, conclusive. It doesn't register. It still kind of registers as, like, as hypothetical, as ethereal, as and it's like, "No, I just told you." And so those clients make a difficult one because tell me you're ambivalent. I'll spend all day going over the options, no problem. Tell me you know what you want, even better. Tell me that you don't know. Again, I'm still with you. It's when you ask a question, you do get the answer, but then you still don't, like, absorb it. Like, I don't
I
know what
think
it
it's
is.
just like a lack of because I'm for some reason, Danny, you giving these remind me of examples. Like, let's say whether it's either like, okay, like that is abuse. Like,
Yeah,
do we want to talk about? Like, I can explain why. And it's like you go through why, like this is abuse. And it's like,
yeah.
well, but who knows? Or like,
Thank
well,
you.
but they didn't
That's a
mean it.
perfect example.
And you're like, no, 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 who knows? Who knows? You can call someone at a local shelter or those local like abuse clinic places.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, no, 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 no. We know. There's many professionals who know, and it's okay that you didn't know, but we actually just established what that was. Or the people that it's like the picking the same thing over and over again, and it's just like, well, like maybe this time it'll be different. Like who knows? And it's like actually, I can point out dated examples. I have 77. I can point out all the data points that show us statistically, and it's a rock solid stat. I'd take bets. I would put a lot of money down on this being the outcome based
Mhm.
on all the data we have. And it's just this like, I think it's gotta be just it's just they're not able to accept that yet. It's like I think then it forces someone to acknowledge either like, okay, I have made this decision that many times that I know this isn't like, that is the only outcome, so why am I still here? Why do I
Yeah.
keep making it? Like, if you're not ready to face that or answer it yet, I get the not being able to see it or not even being able to believe that we know what'll happen, and it's like, "Oh, honey, we know. We know as much as anyone can know." Or the
Mhm.
abuse, right? It's like, then you need to admit to yourself, "Well, I'm in an abusive relationship," or like, "Oh, like, this is abuse." Like, you need to be able to face that if you're able to acknowledge, like, "Wow, okay, yeah, that's what this is." And so I get why those are that would be frustrating. That would
Yeah.
be I
Love them.
specifically yeah, I specifically learned I can't work at I never for a minute thought I would ever work at a where, like, women go if they're
Like a
being abused.
battered
Yeah,
shell.
like a battered women's shelter, kind of a place, or where women go to, like, help get support to leave. Just the stats on how long it takes people to leave, and this is no judgment to them at all,
Mm,
but just knowing how that equation goes, or like relapse, like you work with, addiction issues. No, like it just can't do it. 'Cause it's like, I know people aren't always ready. I know there will be setbacks, but like
mhm,
the energy it takes for me as a professional to just like meet them there every time and be like it's like I wouldn't, I'm sure this is not what they do. That's why I couldn't do this. Cause everything in me would be like, we talked about this. Like, you called me
yeah,
at 9 o'clock. I was there, girl. Like, we made a plan. Like, you're back. No. It's like it would just break my heart over and over and over again. I see why that's a really hard one.
yeah. Love them,
Yeah.
right? I'm not saying anything judgmental about them, but it's like that is of all the many cases and personalities that can walk into the room, that is lovingly the one that it's like because if you don't know or if you're not ready to accept it, then I'd rather just own that, right? Because we can still work in reality with that. It's the
It's
surface
the
level
nuance.
talk that we both know is not like really what we mean that bothers me.
Yeah.
Like just that I guess it is just inability to accept reality.
That's a hard one. Those are good. That was good.
Mhm.
Mine is like, I liked this question because I think I have so many clients. I hear it all the time. I don't know if you do. We're in session. People are like, oh my God, Ollie, I'm so sorry. It's probably like, you probably did not want this today. Or like, oh, like, I'm so sorry. I'm so difficult. And normally it's like when they're crying or if
Mm.
they're talking in circles or kind of going, or not so much in circles, they're going a lot of different directions. It's like they're talking about one thing and then it's like, oh my gosh, wait, actually, I forgot to mention this other part. It's very important. And they're just like, oh, I'm so sorry. You must like think I'm so annoying. And it's like, no, I don't find any of that annoying. Like I'm a therapist. I have my little box of emotional support tissues for you in my office that you're not even in. Like, no, like crying is total, like all of these things are like, this is, I don't know where this comes from of people thinking that that means like, oh no, I'm a bad, quote unquote, bad client or this or that or hard to work with. I don't actually find any of that hard to work with. I tend to find what's difficult to work with the most is the non-talkers,
No,
are
for
the
sure.
ones that seek therapy that like within the first 7 minutes, I'm looking at the clock like, what the hell do you think the next 43 minutes are gonna be? It's like people that are just like, oh, it's just like there's, and again, I lovingly say this, they are wonderful. But it's
Mm.
like when I feel like I'm just doing this the whole session and I'm like, come on, what else you got? It's like, and it's nothing to do with not liking to sit in silence. I am totally fine sitting in silence. But I'm
Hmm.
also not willing when you can tell it's someone who just like doesn't really know like how to do therapy or like you can tell they've just never really had to talk about these things before or this is the level of their current communication. I don't want
Mm.
to put that on them and be like, "Cool, then I'm just going to sit here and not tell you why and not say another word until you say another word." Like I don't think that's fair to
Yeah, yeah.
people that I do think are genuine and they're trying. It's just like, wait, okay, like the one thing you said you really want to work on, I am asking you questions at every angle. I'm trying to be like, cool. How about over here? Nope. Over here. Over here. Nope. 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 It's just like, what on earth? And I have to get to a point with people where I'm like, hey, I'm not going to lie. Like you said you wanted to work on blank. I have asked about it in every way humanly possible. I have asked about barriers. I've asked what's going good. I've asked, if other people are involved, like everything I can think of to address this with you. And you have not said more than a 1 or 2 word answer. Does that mean this isn't an issue? Like, help me
Yeah,
understand
yeah.
what's going on here. But they're so hard. It's so hard when people are just, you're like, oh boy, this is like the longest 50 minutes of my life. And I'm just like, come on, guys. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What is happening? Like, why are we here? And so that's tough for me. But
I've never fallen asleep in session. I've never fallen asleep in session.
has someone done that?
Yeah. Yeah,
Shut
I've
up.
heard horror stories. I've never but those clients that you're talking about are definitely the ones where I'm, like, always needing to sip on the tea because it is very much like
Yeah. Like, okay, we
yeah.
got another 3 minutes. That question was good. They talked a little more. That killed three. Let's keep
Mhm.
going. It's a lot. So those are the ones I find difficult. Another, and then kind of, this isn't like a type of client, but just in general, what I've learned lately. Oh my God, I don't know if it was when we were just, I don't think we ever recorded it, but when you've told me about some awful pet situations, It's the pets. I could never. I'm like, no wonder veterinary place. I mean, granted, there's probably budgetary reasons. I don't know any therapist. I don't know if I'd trust you if you're the therapist that would work for like a veterinary clinic and like your whole caseload is just like talking to people right after they put an animal down. When those get me, and they tend to come out of nowhere because freak things happened or it happened so fast. I cry every time. Every time. I've for sure cried under 10 times in session. And by cry, I mean like glassy eyes, tears coming down, and I'm like, oh, and I gotta like, sop them up under the eye before they go down. Like that's me crying in a session. Every freaking time it's animals. And like no. Yes, for when it happens in those people. And I'm glad that you're comfortable to tell me and like absolutely I'm here for you. But like a full caseload, or I've just learned like, oh, I can't have a handful of those in a week. I'd be like, I gotta take next week off. Like, this is too much for me. Animals are perfect. They're perfect creatures. I don't care whatever they've done. They're innocent. They're lovely. And when you tell me step by step, every agonizing second of how they passed, I'm not built for that. I'm not built for that. So that one's just not so much about the client, but that's a topic I've
Sure.
learned is
That's
not
good.
ever going to be, I'm not advertising, come to me when that happens. But if I already know you when that happens, absolutely, we're going to cry together. Because don't expect I'm not going to cry. It's impossible. Okay. Sorry, that was that one. Okay. Next question. I'm having a fun time. Lies you heard about going into private practice. Lie.
I think the biggest one that stands out is that, and we've definitely have talked about this one before, where it's like you can't do it for the money, or that you're not gonna like make a lot of money. And it's like it's a lie, but I understand it. Like I'm thinking through as many things as I can think of about what people have said about private practice. And it's all true. Even when we think about money and rates, again, this is the year that most people have like closed up their shop
Hmm.
with, BetterHelp, with all these like insurances and everything. Like people are not making a lot of money. It is very difficult to not only be a cash pay therapist, but to be at the level that you're at, to be able to provide for yourself. And then
Hmm.
there's also a lot of misinformation that I think really messes people up. And so they look at the wrong references. They look at people and they ask what they're doing without any context or any understanding of why they charge what they charge. And then they set their standard, they set their bar up there, and they completely ruin themselves. They make terrible business decisions and they're out before they even had a chance.
Yeah.
So, like, making money or having this be like a lucrative thing, there's truth to that. Like, it is not a guarantee, and it's not even something that I can say, like, if you really want it, it can happen to you. There are a lot of things that need to go into place in order for you to be like very successful in this field. And like, unless you learn those skills, unless you pick up all those things and do those things, then yeah, you're probably not going to be successful. You're
Hmm.
probably not going to make a lot of money. But like, as far as like answering the question, like I am able to provide for my family. I am able to take care of myself. I do live comfortably. I live happy, all within like context. I'm also
Not on your mega yacht.
right? Like I don't live like that, but no, like it's been an amazing journey. It's been an amazing career. But again, like you and I are very different people. Like we run businesses, and that's not something that people going into therapy often think about.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's true because that's not what you're signing up for, but it's like, it's false. Like, you can make money. It's just going to require something that you probably never thought you'd have to do.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is fair. And see, mine to that is, and I guess I say I'll count it as a lie because I'll explain. I don't think it's like a malicious lie. I just think I heard a lot of like, oh, like I hate the business part, or the business part just takes up so much of my time. Or I see those posts of people that are like, I hired like an admin, or they hired people to like do the
Yeah.
phone calls. And I don't know, part of me is like, damn, you get that many phone calls? But like, I like doing all the business stuff. I love it. I love puzzles. I love calling my CPA. Like, I love thinking about like, oh, okay, sole proprietor in California, lots of negatives there. Like, so how else can I do this? How else are
Mm.
people organizing this? Who can I talk to? What else can I do? I talked to that person who then connected me with this CPA, and that CPA is like, "Oh, actually, I don't have any room, but talk to this guy." It's like I love the puzzle of it all. And so I think not maybe lie isn't the right word, but I think I just heard so much negative around like running your own business and what that means. Now, will I say, I think younger me maybe thought, not like I didn't dream of owning a group practice, but I think when I was younger, I maybe just thought that was a natural progression. Like it's like, okay,
Sure.
if you do well on your own, you can hire some more people maybe. Now it's a group. I have since learned that is not the case at all. And if I've even looked into it, it's like, okay, I don't know if I want to run a business like that. And like
Mhm.
also, I don't know if that's really more lucrative, a lot of people are saying. And so it's like, is that worth the trade-off of where I'm like now so stressed about that and I'm not even like it's not worth it even to me, like for the trade? No. But I don't I think I was more prepared or like more nervous for the business part. And now that I do it all, I'm like, oh, like I don't know why people hate the consult calls. Oh, I have no issue answering the phone, or like I like when I get a voicemail and I'm like, "Oh, great. I'm gonna call back. I've got, 30 free minutes." It's like I love all the business stuff. I mean, I won't say I love paperwork, but like I like doing things in my downtime. I like doing things that aren't client facing. I like that I work at home and I can do that on the couch while my pugs lay on me. Like I
Mhm.
have no issue doing all the business stuff. So maybe that's the only quote unquote lie I want to say. And that's just because I also want people to not be afraid of the business stuff. Obviously it's not for everyone. Some people, to the extent that it is, they're like, nope, not for me. I literally just want to do the therapy. That
Right.
is fair. But I like the creativeness. I like that it works a totally different part of my brain to have to figure these other things out. And it allows me to work with people in a way
Mhm.
that I don't work with people when I'm obviously just being a solo therapist. Like, I love all of that. So that one is, I think, my lie technically, but it's more because I want people to believe and know that, like, no, like you totally can do the business part of this if you want. And I think it might not even be that scary to some
Right.
people.
Yeah, no, I love that answer, and I think it really does go hand in hand with mine. Like,
Yeah.
listen to everything that you just said, and, like, that is often, like, the biggest complaint that you hear from people thinking about what we do.
Mhm.
It's, "Well, those are exactly the things I don't want to do," and they almost, like, loathe it to a weird extent, and it's like it's weird, and I think this might speak to why we're successful. Like, it's weird to hear that, to hear those complaints because in my mind, and I'm assuming for yours, it's like, that's the job.
Yeah.
I never even consider those things separate. Like, why wouldn't I call my clients back? Why wouldn't I do research? Why wouldn't I read? Why wouldn't I make my notes? Like,
Why wouldn't
why
I
am I
assign homework and then follow up to see how the
yeah.
homework's going?
It's like,
Like,
why are
is
we
that
thinking about any of
not the
this?
point?
Like, that's the job. And so,
Yeah.
like, that's why, like, I think if you go in with the right mindset and if you have like a realistic understanding of what it takes to actually run a successful business, then this can be a very lucrative career. The truth is, and I think maybe the lie underneath that is that people are lying to themselves. They think that they can do it, but they have not actually considered like what it takes to run a business and they
Yeah.
don't actually want to do that.
Or, like, you
So,
have to be willing to work hard. I
yeah.
think you might find, like, a thing that gives you more clients faster than other people, or you might like and I also don't think it's a you work hard and it will work out for you
Yeah.
necessarily trade-off, but it's like, you have to be willing to work, and
Yeah.
I think it will be great for people who it's a good fit for. We all know I want more therapists out there, especially younger folks, but, like, if you wanna just clock into a job, clock out, and not have to worry about stuff in your spare time, I do not think this is for you. I
Mhm.
know I'm a workhorse and I'd be finding other shit to do with all this energy anyway, so I might as well have it with my own business. Or like I'll be making eggs in the morning, get a phone call and be like, "Hi, yeah, I've got time. Let's do a
Right. Yeah.
consult. If you hear some stuff in the background, I'm making eggs. How's it going?" It's
Mhm.
like that's just to me a part of why I love it. So yeah, I think the lie is like, it can be really cool and you can love it, but, you gotta be willing to work for it. Ooh, those were good, those were good. Oh my god, Danny, I'm love hearing your, like, positions on these things. Okay, we have 3 more. What is a hard truth that you would want people to know before going into private practice? And I guess technically, we might have actually touched on some of these in our answers, but have you thought like, what's a hard truth you would want someone to know?
Yeah, like if I don't wanna double up on that, and let me see the other ones, because then I don't wanna follow that trend.
Are they too similar?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Um, a hard truth, I think, is that I think people need to work on themselves a lot more.
Mhm.
That's it might be a hot take. You might wanna fight me on this one. I'm not saying like, I'm not trying to dictate what anyone does for a living, right? You follow your dreams,
What are you
whatever.
talking about? Those who can't do, teach. I don't
Yeah.
need to work on myself at all. I'll just tell everyone else how to do it.
Yeah, and it's like you especially in private practice, like, I don't work for a clinic, I don't work for a hospital. People aren't kind of forced to see me because they got nowhere else to go. Like, this isn't mandated, Like, if you wanna make it in a private practice, you have to be good at what you do, and you also have to manage yourself, take care of you, and I do think a lot of people enter this business in general, enter this field because of their empath experiences. Like, because of what I've went through, I can really resonate with what people are going through, and they spend I think might spend a disproportionate time around resonating with pain rather than
Mm,
resonating with health. And so, yeah, they're happy to hear your stories, but they still don't know what to do about it. They carry it
yeah.
with them home, and when they clock out, they're not actually practicing the healthiest of lives. And
Yeah.
so it really just becomes like a, I can't do, so I teach kind of thing. That's my hard truth. And that's part of the reason why, like, when I do network with people, there's a very, very small handful of people that I actually refer to. Like, you probably know all of them by name because it's that small.
Same.
Like, no, I need to know that you can actually do the work. And I don't think that I'm cynical. I don't think that a lot of people are actually that great at it.
No. My heart goes out to all the empaths because I'm just like, oh boy. I get why you'd feel a calling to do this job. And it also scares the shit out of me
Mhm.
that you do this job. So yeah, I agree 100%. My surface level answer is stuff we already said. It's the like, you're going to have to work real hard
Mhm.
and don't think you're going to get a full caseload just because you got licensed.
Yeah.
Work for it. Figure it out. Get crafty. Do what you got to do. But my other answer is I think people, and not so much a hard truth, like I don't think it's like hits you in the face, but I guess what I wish people knew, and it kind of speaks to my insecurity, is I want you got to find you. Like you have to find what works for you. Like don't think about what niche will pay the most or, and yes, to a certain extent, if you pick something that's a crazy niche, you work in person and none of the population that you picked even lives where you are,
Yeah.
that's a business problem. We need to work on that. But for the most part, you got it. Like, I didn't think I'd work with adults with ADHD. And as they found me, and it was like, wait a minute. Yeah, I do know a lot about this as a school psychologist. And like, I have information for you that you're like, thank you. I've talked to like six other clients about this over the years and no, or six other clients, six other therapists over the years. And no one even knew what that was. And it's like,
Mhm.
I do in this one specific area because I was hyper focused on it for a while. That was funny. ADHD joke. But it's like in schools, that's like a lot of the clients I worked with and it's kiddos. So, so it's like I think you also the hard truth is like you got to find your style with it. And it starts with not knowing. It starts with like being the blank slate that's like okay, repeat back exactly what they just said. But then
Mhm.
it's slowly over time learning like I do lean in a little more to like I like more like structure to my sessions and I like kind of having X amount of sessions and this is what we do on session 3 and this is what we do or maybe it's more free flowing. Or maybe you're like, huh, I really love like this Jungian thing and I just want to do that. You can thrive in so many different ways, but like you just got to find what works for you. Cause I think it's the authenticity that keeps people oh, and the knowledge. But I think authenticity speaks volumes and people know when when it's like, what are you doing? Or like, do you even like this? And I think research even shows like a part of what leads to great client outcomes is the therapist feeling all in on
Yeah.
the theories that they're using and what they're utilizing. And so my hard truth is it'll take you time. And I think Danny and I, in a sense, are still figuring that out. Like we don't always know and for
Mhm.
forever, but it's a forever moving kind of thing. You're always evolving. And so I think it's just finding what is your way of doing therapy. No
Mhm.
one else can mimic that. No one else can do that the way you're going to do it. And like that is going to have its whole own business behind it.
Yeah, I love that. I think you do such a great job at, like, giving the answer I want to give, but making it sound nicer, because my answer is, like, "Get better," and yours is, like, "Find your
Most of you
authentic
suck.
self."
Work on it.
Yeah, it's like and yours is so sweet. It's like, yeah, that's the opposite side of the coin. That's exactly what I meant. Being your authentic self, I think, requires you to actually do real work on
Yes.
yourself. So please just listen to what Ollie says.
No, 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 but yours was like a good part of that, Danny, because I'm not saying like do like work on yourself as you're doing all this, but you're right. I don't think without your answer, I don't think people can genuinely find what they love and who they're a best fit for and all that
Mhm,
stuff unless you like are constantly working on yourself and maybe you're going to therapy or you're constantly like putting in work and doing these exercises too.
mhm.
So, I think our answers have gone so well together. Okay, last two. How does being a private practice therapist negatively impact your personal life? And again, I think a lot of these sound bad, or they sound like I framed them very negatively. But I think people have this perception that like, oh, well, you're a therapist, so like, of course you'd be a good, like, oh, you're fit to be a parent, or you're this, you're that. Of course, your marriage is going well. You're a couples therapist. But how does it negatively impact?
This is an assumption
Oh,
that's based off of a little bit of very, very strong information.
okay,
And so I'm 90% sure that this is true, but it is an assumption. I do have to give that disclaimer. And that is I think it definitely makes it harder to have relationships with, my friends and family.
okay. How so?
By chance or circumstance, for example, like I would love to be able to connect with my sisters and talk about their relationship because, like, this is what I do. And yet, because I'm a therapist, I don't want to know because then you're just going to give me this, that, the other thing, like making assumptions about me. And it's like, no, that's not true. Or because, friends that there are friends that don't reach out, that don't tell me what's going on. It's like, "Ugh, I don't need a therapist right now." And it's like, those are really like unfortunate projections that you've put onto me. And it's like, I love what I do and I work so hard to build the skills that I have so that I can take care of the people that I love. Like this isn't just because I want to have a job. Like it's not for everyone that isn't in my life while all my clients are important to me and I really do love them all. I do this because I want to be a good person. Like I practice this because I really do believe in health and it just so happens that I took that practice and made a business out of it.
Hmm.
But I do believe that it has definitely negatively impacted my relationships where I feel as if there's really only like one person that I can name that I think has really kind of embraced me as a mental health professional and comes in all the time like, "Hey, what do you think? This is what's going on. Can I get your take? Like I know you don't have to give me this advice, but I just as a person, like I just respect your opinion. Tell me
Yeah.
what you think." Like, there's really only one person that I know in my personal life that has actually, like, really engaged with me and what I do. Mostly everyone else, I do kinda get the feeling not everyone else, but the people that I'm thinking about, I do get the feeling that it's like you're either written off because, like, "Oh, you're a fucking therapist. You're gonna say this, that, the other thing," or because you're a therapist, you're gonna and my idea of what therapy is you're gonna judge me, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. And so I do think that it's made it harder to maintain as intimate relationships as I would like.
That's a good one, I guess. So similarly, I feel like I don't even try to do that stuff with my family because I don't want it to come across as like, well, I'm the therapist, so I know. And if anything, I feel like I go out of my way to almost make it clear, like, and not just to my family, almost to anyone, which probably is not a good approach either. But I'm just like, I don't know anything. We all hardly know anything, really. If you think about it, we're all imperfect people, just trying our best. Definitely in marriage or relationships, because I love couples work. I love it. Can I actively probably do any of that in my own house? No, because it's so obvious that it's a freaking couples exercise or it's like a structured thing that I don't
Mm,
know any partner I've ever dated isn't just like, "Ollie, stop trying to do your therapy thing here."
yeah,
Or like, "We're not doing a therapy thing right now." Whereas and I get it, hence that wouldn't work with other people, which is why they come to us. So when we make them do it, it's like, "Oh, fine. I'll do it because like this professional is telling us to do it."
yeah,
So, I think it shows up in personal relationships, like romantic relationships for sure. Yeah, I don't even try and bridge those things with family or friends because I also don't want people to assume that I'm like, "Hey, like, tell me because I'm a therapist." Like, I feel like it's weird to almost preface like, "No, no, no, I just, like, I care, and I'm just totally gonna be Ollie,
mm,
not therapist-y, like, but do you wanna tell me?" Like, I think it almost makes it harder to
yeah,
interject or try and be involved in those things.
mhm.
And then, oh, I had one more. What was the question that I wrote?
It's how has being a therapist negatively impacted your personal life?
Oh, Okay, so there's that one, and then another one, but different realm that, I mean, I highly doubt it's that impactful, but I've definitely noticed it, is I suck at small talk. I suck. I don't care. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I don't care what you're talking to me about. I will say I talk weirdly enough, I do like the weather, because sometimes it just hits. You're like, "Oh, the weather today?" But that's genuine. That's not like small talk. When you can tell it's that small talk, like, "Oh, how are the kids?" Like, I'm gonna be horrible if I ever have kids. The other parents are gonna think I'm a nut job because they're gonna talk about dumb stuff, and I'm gonna be like, "Oh my god, mine's a little terrorist," and I'll be like, "Let me tell you," and it's just like, "How did yours make you want to like slaughter a pig this week?" And they're gonna be like, "That's intense," and I'll be like, "Absolutely, we have intense feelings. What are yours about?" It's like I want real shit. I want the real stuff. Like, don't waste my time. I talk to strangers on a regular basis that I know everything about their lives. So you think I'm gonna walk from point A to point B and I want to
Mm.
say anything to you that's not of real substance? You're wrong. I don't. I have no desire.
It's a good one.
0%. So yeah, I suck at small talk and I just own it. I don't care. I do not care. I think it rubs people the wrong way. Too bad for them. Okay, last question, grand finale. This has been great. Something you have learned the hard way in private practice or just being a therapist. Either or, but something you've learned the hard way.
I was thinking about this question too, and I don't know if I have an answer.
Really?
I honestly don't know if I have an answer. Like,
That's good.
something and yeah, I don't wanna sound like I'm patting myself on the back. Like, something I've learned the hard way about being in private practice. I think I was lucky and I was given a lot of, healthy expectations at the beginning. I think I came in with the right mindset, whether by chance or, because I actually knew what the hell I was doing, I don't know. And so I knew it was gonna be a certain type of way. And then I also was able to learn a lot from my mentors and their poor decisions. And so I didn't have to learn it myself. Like I
Okay.
watched, I talked, I asked. And so I was able to learn from their mistakes without having to repeat them. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if you answer, I might pick up on something. But and again, all of this with context, like I got into this game during COVID. And
Yeah.
so my job started, like my journey started the hard way. So like it's not like I just came in, opened up a Psychology Today page, and then all of a sudden everything's fine. What hard
Yeah.
stuff? No,
Yeah.
it started terrible. And so I guess like just having that as a starting point, but also having a team, having a family, having a support network, be
Yeah.
like, hey, we're all in the same boat. We're gonna figure this out together. Don't worry about it. Um, and I've always been like a very intentional person. Is I think I've been able to limit the amount of mistakes I make.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm just lucky, and I'm just happy that I'm here.
That's good. Yeah, I guess like the hard way is kind of a stretch, but I try to think of things that I'm like, oh my God. I had certain supervisors, like I knew to get signatures ahead of time. And same, like supervisors were always very like, Ollie, I did this, do not do this.
Hmm,
But
hmm.
there were some supervisors that were straight up like, "No, like, I won't sign it off until it's, like, X amount at least," or, like, they were just
Right.
hard to track down as people, and because I did a lot online, I had lots of supervisors, and they weren't, like, living near me. So I think it was like, oh my like, maybe I should have pushed harder to get some of those signatures sooner. Because then when push came to shove, it felt like I was, like, hunting them down to be like, "Where are these people?" Like, I
Yeah.
can't even find them to get their signatures. And so there was that. I had one supervisor who let payments go far too long, but even I tried to give a few people the benefit of the doubt who I knew that they could be consistent, so I'd let like 2 sessions go without payment and then they wouldn't pay. And I was like, "No." And it got to like I had to be like very abrasive with people, and I think I become or abrasive might not have been the right word, but I think I can be so understanding that there were people that had no ill intent, but like would still be like, "Oh, haha, yeah, so sorry, I'll pay you after. Like, see you in a few minutes." And I'd have to be like, "No, like you literally won't see me in a few minutes, and I'm gonna charge you for that." Like, this is not how this works. And I think it's like when Ollie wasn't playing around anymore, then it became like, oh shit, okay, like my bad. But I do still I don't always want to be that way. I like that I can be more flexible with people. But I think a few people have taken it a little bit for granted and
Sure.
it puts me in an uncomfortable spot. And I'm like, oh, like now I have to be kind of like this weird version of myself that I don't like, where I have to just send you like a very clean cut email that's like, no, sorry, like this is what'll be happening. I literally cannot see you anymore until this invoice is paid. Like it's just like, I don't know why it had to come to this. It seems like this makes sense, but I guess maybe it hasn't for some reason. So things like that. Things like, oh, there was one I was thinking of, things I learned the hard way. Ugh, yeah, payment stuff.
That's a great
Yeah,
answer.
thank you. Yeah, I don't think a lot of it was, like, hard in the sense that it's like, "Oh my god, then I lost everything," and, like, hit rock bottom, but I think just hard in terms of, like one that I was thinking of is I always viewed being a therapist as having your own space, like your own office, and again, this wasn't really, like, the hard way, but when we first started and before a lot of therapists were fully virtual and before we were allowed to be as associates, I specifically had to drive an hour to get to this office to make like 35 or $40. And then I would drive back in rush hour traffic and I'm like, "Oh my god." Like I just spent way more in gas and like 3.5 hours of my life for a 50-minute session.
Mm.
And I'm like, I don't know about this in-person thing. And a part of me still fantasizes about it. I love the old like Victorians that they turn into these things and you just like renovate parts of it to be like a lobby and a this and a that, but it's like a home. Yes, maybe one day if I somehow, I don't know, if the pugs are show dogs and they win us all this money, if our chickens lay golden eggs, then I would love that. But I think again, maybe not the hard way, but it was more like a hard realization of like, girl, you're funny. You think that this is practical for you right now? And sure, maybe it's not an hour away, but even if it's close by, and in especially California, for those spaces is not cheap.
Yeah.
And then you got to pay for where you live, you got to pay for, and then if you have people have to be closer naturally because you're going there. Or then you're doing virtual, I guess, still, but you're there, so you're paying for that too. Some people love that also. It's worth the trade off for them. That is great. Where I was at financially in my life and with the way things are around me, it was not practical. And so I think, again, maybe not a hard truth, but that was one that I would have loved to be able to have that kind of like a lifestyle or like a business. And like, I just don't. And it's okay. Maybe one day I will, but that was not going to work for me. So not a hard truth, but I think there's like, I think moral of this one on both of our ends is like, listen to your mentors or
Yeah.
like have supervisors that you're willing to be like, oh my God, like, what do you recommend I not do? Like, what mistakes did you make that I should not make? And like, listen to them.
Yeah.
Please, please. I know our kids don't listen when we tell them. They're designed to not listen. Please, you as a prospective business person, if you're thinking of doing this, please listen. Please, please, please.
Great job.
Yay! Oh, this was fun. Danny, this was great. Thanks for going under the iceberg with me.
Yeah, thank you. This was nice.
Yay. Oh, what a fun lunch hour. See you next
Okay.
week.
Bye-bye. See ya.
Bye.